Toy Story 4 is the directorial debut of Josh Cooley, who is best known as a storyboard artist on films such as The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, and Up, who also helped write Inside Out. In this film, Woody becomes distant from Bonnie as she stops playing with him as much as the other toys. When she creates a new toy at kindergarten called Forky, who is made out of a spork and other art supplies, Woody sees that Forky makes Bonnie more happy in kindergarten than anything else can, and it will help her get more used to kindergarten. So as they go on a road trip, Woody tries to rescue Forky as he runs away on a road trip, so Woody has to rescue him. But his ideology of being a toy is tested when he runs into Bo Peep, a character from the first two Toy Story films. I was very skeptical about this movie in the beginning because I hold the first three Toy Story films very dear to me. They are just amazing films. Pixar has done an amazing job with those three movies in particular. And I'm not so keen on all of the other sequels that Pixar has done. Sequels or prequels, whatever you may have, they're just not as good as the Toy Story sequels. And I was very skeptical of Toy Story 4 because I was wondering what can they do better than Toy Story 3? How can they continue the story? Because Toy Story 3 was just a beautiful ending. I love Toy Story 3. Now, what can they do with Toy Story 4? I was wrong about being skeptical about I was wrong about being skeptical about this film because I had a blast with this movie. To get it out of the way, the animation is fantastic. The best work done by Pixar yet for the looks of the film. Yes, Incredibles 2 came out last year and it looked amazing, but holy Christ, this movie looks far more amazing. Like, I can't believe that a lot of these locations just look so real. The water droplets look real when it's raining. All the trees, everything just looks great. But how does the story come out? Well, the story of Toy Story 4 is simple, but it does seem like it drags on a little because of what happens in the film, such as the crazy antics the toys have to go on. When Woody and Bo Peep have to look for Sporky in an antique shop, Buzz has to go after them. And the entire film, after that point, after the, when the second act goes into the third act and whatnot, it feels like a long sequence. It really feels like this long, drawn out sequence. But it's not entertaining. I was always entertained. I was always having a blast with this movie. It was fun. But it just seemed like it was just this long sequence of let's get Forky. Oh, but other things happen along the way. But nothing ever seemed distracting or pulling away from the story. It was just always on getting Sporky. A couple of things seemed rushed when it came to the idea of Bonnie being so attached to Sporky. I mean, it's shown in the movie, but it's not completely believable to the point where it has to become this big part of the story. Because it really isn't the main factor of the story that makes the story work. It's Woody's journey. He feels this attachment to these kids, and these other characters are trying to open his eyes. Like, there's more out there than just being a toy for a kid. And I think they handle that plot element really well in this film. The main characters, besides the new characters that come in, the main characters are mainly Woody, Buzz, Bo Peep, and Forky. Every other character that comes in, as in like returning characters from past films, that isn't Bo Peep, they kind of sit back as if like they don't play a huge role in the movie. And it was never something like, oh, I wanted to see more of Rex or I wanted to see more of Mr. Potato Head, because they're just side characters in the end. Although I would have liked to see more of them, they really didn't need to be there as much as the other gang was. I do like the new characters that come to the film, like Duke Kaboom. He's a Canadian stunt bike rider guy, voiced by Keanu Reeves, and he's really enjoyable. I was more skeptical about Key and Peele being in the movie because I do find their comedy sketches very funny on their show Key and Peele, but I wasn't sure how they'd play out in this movie because I thought they might be too distracting from the film. But no, they took the back road a little bit, and they did provide for some good laughs and some good jokes, and they were enjoyable characters in the end too. What Pixar does with its music, it's not so much of Mickey Mousing, but I would relate it to Mickey Mousing. If you don't know, Mickey Mousing, when it comes to making music for cartoons or just any form of media, is whenever an action is done, there's a piece of music or like a note being played to mimic that action. So like footsteps going along like a road or a floor, there'd be music accompanied by that footstep with like little notes like da 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 da. Like that's Mickey Mousing right there. With every action, you know, drawing a sword out or pulling paper out, everything. Every action has like a piece of music to go along with it. And Pixar does that really well, especially with this movie. Like all the music is, although not memorable, besides, you know, a couple of themes being brought back from the older movies, it does help out play with the scenes in the movie. I was waiting for that punch that Pixar gives you because all their films have some emotion to them that makes you feel for the character, it makes you understand what they're thinking along with the story. I was waiting for that for a while, and it had to hit me right in the end. Right in the end, I got teary-eyed, and yeah, tears started coming out of my face. Yeah, that's what happens. I'm a human too. I cry in movies, okay? And this movie got me to cry because of what happens. I'm not gonna spoil it, even though people have probably seen it. I just don't want to in case someone who hasn't seen it yet. This film really got to me at the end because it seemed like it was coming to an end yet again. Even though I didn't want it to come to an end again because I didn't want a Toy Story 4 because I was fine with Toy Story 3 being the ending. But I think that this film did warrant itself to be another satisfying ending for this, you know, it's not a trilogy anymore. I don't know what to call a movie with a series of movies with 4 in it. But it was yet another satisfying ending. It's another great Pixar movie. I haven't seen a good Pixar movie that I really enjoyed in a while, but they knocked it out of the park yet again. I was very excited to see Toy Story 4 after people started saying how good it was, and I'm glad I got to see it. And I'm going to give this movie an A-. So those are my thoughts on Toy Story 4. I know I wish I would have gotten to see this movie over the summer, but I didn't get to. And, you know, let me know what you thought about Toy Story 4. Do you like my opinions on it? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Tell me if you liked Toy Story 4 or if you didn't like it. You know, I'm always down to see what other people think about movies that I see. Like this video, share it with a friend, you know, do all that good stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. I'm going to review Godzilla King of the Monsters next. I don't know when that review will be up, but that is the next video coming after this one. And I might do a skit that I had written a while back based around the idea of Toy Story 4. I think that might be something I'd want to do. But for now, let's just end it with this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.